This chapter, this reflection is going to be really on reclaiming our identity. We are in today a crisis of identity, of who we are. How many of you know who Steven Crowder is?
Steven Crowder?
Yeah, Steven Crowder. So he is a political commentator and comedian, and he was asking people questions and interviewing them. And one man said to him, "You know, I assume you're a man, but if you told me that you're a woman, I think it'd be wrong of me to say that you're wrong. Or I don't think it'd be loving for me to say that you're wrong." And he said, "Okay, well, what if I said I'm a bobcat?" The guy said, "I would say great, and I hope you're the best bobcat on earth." Our culture is saying that love is to support, and that you can't say no or say someone is wrong with how they feel. But the thing is that sin has made all of us disordered. It's made all of us disordered. But the longing of the human heart is, I want love. I want to know what love is. Do you know the song, I want to know what love is? You know that? Yeah, we want to know what love is. I have been doing this personal project where I've asked random people all around the world, what is love? And one person from Spain said this: love is something we talk about every single day. There's always debates about this, but when someone actually stops and think, what is love? Or what is freedom? We don't know what it is. And this woman is not really religious. We don't really know what love is. We don't really talk about it. We just argue about it. Love cannot be supporting another person, simply. Because love, according to Thomas Aquinas, is desiring the other person's good, which is ultimately for them to live within the truth, because the truth is what sets us free. Love is desiring the person's good, which is helping each other. Even myself, I hope you help me to live in the truth, because the truth is what sets us free. Where do we find the truth of who we are? Why we're created male and female? Why do we exist? Genesis. And this is why John Paul II looks at Jesus' words when he says, from the beginning it was not so. So Jesus is pointing us back to the beginning before sin to discover the truth of who we are. So Genesis, a lot of us may think, gosh, I study biology, I study chemistry. Genesis goes against biology. How many of you have thought that? Or maybe you haven't. A lot of my friends will say, okay, like you guys just believe in Adam, Eve, apple, tree. And that's not what Genesis is. Genesis is poetry. It's symbolism. It's mythical. Mythical, not in the sense of it's a fairy tale, but it's a myth in the sense of it's telling something so true that normal language can't speak about it. So God created Adam. The Hebrew is Adam, A-D-A-M, and it means the human being. And it was not good that the human being was alone. So it's not saying in the beginning this event happened a long time ago. Yes, the church believes there was an event that happened, but it has to do with us right now. We are all alone. The human being as such is alone. You guys know the band One Direction? They sing, "Do you know the reasons why we look up to the sky?" That is man being alone. There's something unique about the human being. We can look up to the sky. We also wear clothes. Is that something society has we've taken from tradition, from our ancestors, that we wear clothes? Or are we different than the animals? With sin, we experience the body in different ways now. With sin, the battlefield is the body between good and evil. How many of you have been changing in your room? Someone hit the door down. What do? What's going on? You cover. If someone's streaking on the baseball field, do you guys all point, behold, it's good? No, there's going to be cops running after the person, right? Have you ever been in the bathroom on the toilet and someone walks in? What do? Get out. this experience of our bodies are now wounded. Why? Why do we cover up? Why, maybe when you were watching a movie when you were a kid and a sexually explicit scene came on and your parents said, cover your eyes? Is it because the body's bad or shameful? This is a tendency that I believed growing up, because when you just cover up, it's negative. Don't look, it's all negative. But instinctively, we cover up because we protect what is most sacred. We protect what is most beautiful. God created the body. He created us male and female, naked without shame, and he said, behold, it is very good. Do we believe that? Do you believe that your body is very, very good and that God created it? Behold, it's very good. Right, Robert? I want to share this story that shows us, because John Paul II reaches towards the beginning, Jesus reaches towards the beginning, go back to the beginning in Eden, not because it's lost and we can't recover it. That's true at a certain extent, but there's also real power in the beginning. And this is why Jesus points us back. And there's an echo that we feel, whether it's when we cover up, when someone walks in on us, there's an echo. John Paul II calls it that, because it's this, we remember a time when it's like, this was not supposed to be. Maybe you've had an experience where it's like, this was not supposed to be. I just want to share this story. I love, because this teaching has changed my life, any person I talk to, whether it's on the airplane and I'm sitting next to a stranger, I want to talk to them about this. And so I get in this Uber, and this woman, hey, how are you doing? I'm good. And, she's like, oh, where are you going? Oh, I'm headed back to DC. Oh, what are you doing in DC? Okay, this is my opening, right? This is my opening. Oh, I'm getting my master's in theology for marriage and family. I want to teach on this theology of the body. And no one has really ever heard of this saying, especially in the secular world, theology of the body. Okay, what is that? Okay. I say this because this is what changed me. And like I said, anything I ever say, if it doesn't affect us, if it doesn't change our experience, our life, then what's the point? So I say this because this is what I learned. Have you ever seen someone look at a beautiful sunset? Have you ever seen someone look at the stars or an ocean shore? And have you ever seen their face in the way they see it? And their eyes are glistening and they're smiling. And I said to her, how would the world be if every person looked at every person in a way that they look at a sunset? How would the world be? And as someone who's non-religious, she said, oh my gosh, the world would be totally different. The world would be totally different if we saw every person as the crown of creation, which is the truth. That's the truth. In Genesis, there was Genesis 1, chapter 1, which is the objective truth. We are created in the image and likeness of God. And then Genesis 2 was their subjective experience, what they experienced. They experienced seeing one another naked without shame, an image of God. Because of sin, our subjective experience is off from the reality. It's off from the reality. But we can't normalize that. That's what we've done. We've normalized it. So I want to finish with this example of how are we called to love? And I'm going to use an orange. I'm going to use an orange to describe how we're called to love. Okay? How many of you, I want to just ask a question. If I started peeling this orange, right? I was peeling this orange, and I took the actual orange, I threw it away, and I just started gnawing on the peel. What would you say? Huh? I have some issues. Okay, that's mean. What would you say? One other person. You would say, Okay. Anyway, what would you say if honestly I took the orange, I threw it away, and I was 9 on the peel? What would you say? Yeah. No one? No one's on. I'm crazy. Okay. Guess what? In a lot of our world, most of our world is just eating the peel. And I'll tell you why. I'll give you a second. And one person said to me, Brendan, you're missing out. You're missing out on the juice. You're missing out on the glory that's inside. What is the loving thing to do if I'm just eating the peel? The loving thing to do is not to say, hey, you do you, as long as it doesn't affect me, I'm fine with it. No. It's glory in there. The loving thing to do is share the glory. Isn't it? The loving thing to do is share the glory that we're made for. Most of the world has normalized eating the peel. No one's really tried the orange. And when they see people who are eating the orange, it's like, what are you guys doing? For me, my experience, I was eating the peel. Someone told me about the orange, and now I want to tell everyone. The truth of who we are, created male and female in the beginning, is glory. It's glory. St. Thomas Aquinas says, sexual union in the beginning, before sin, was the greatest joy, the greatest pleasure we could ever imagine. We couldn't even imagine it. It's glory. John Paul II says the problem with pornography is not that it shows too much, but it shows far too little. It shows far too little. I want to just conclude with what the Christian life is all about. And this is what I've learned, is that we are called to align and reorder our passions according to God's plan so that we may reach the promised land. We are all disordered. We are all disordered from sin. But by grace, our passions may be reordered according to his plan, so we may reach the promised land, which is called the wedding feast. The Catholic Church issues on sexuality seem repressive. That's what most people say. The Catholic Church wants to safeguard the juice and wants to share the juice with the world.